also share some news that I just found out like a day ago, that the General Assembly also passed a similar, they changed the name so many times. It started out with racial profiling back when I was working on it, and now it's changed to Community Public Safety Act, whatever. But they passed it through the General Assembly, and now it's on the desk of the governor. So right now, from a city perspective, this is good timing for folks to get behind the Community Safety Act and push that as well from a city perspective. So we need you. We need all of you. You all are very important. So please join in and be a part of that. And again, I want to thank you for having me tonight. If there's anything you need to ask me about the Community Safety Act from a city perspective, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But I'm so happy to be in your presence tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And a big thanks to Mary Kate for coming.
I'm confused. So what? There's just so much going on. I don't understand what this is at all. Really, I keep hearing it's being talked, and when it's happening, and last year and this year.
Definitely.
It would help me because I want to see this show when it happens.
Yes, definitely. I would like to invite up Laura and Tanya. They're two members of the Community Safety Act organizing group and the Community Safety Act keeps getting mentioned over and over. Clearly it has something to do with holding the police accountable, and I think that point has been made, but I would love for Laura and Tanya to drive a little bit more home, what this genre of holding the power that be accountable, which is called the Community Safety Act, is all about.
Am I okay without the mic? No. Okay, I'll use the mic. So a lot of you met me on the way in. The Providence Community Safety Act is a city ordinance, which means it affects Providence. And it also means that our phone calls and our voices make a huge difference because Providence is a small town. If it was passed, it would be the most comprehensive anti-racial profiling bill in the country, which is exciting, right? It has a lot of different components. They're all on the sheet, which is downstairs if you want to learn more. Some important things: it protects video recording by citizens. It secures language access, which means that people have a right to interpretation if they don't speak English, which they don't right now, which is ridiculous, right? Providence is like 47% immigrants. It creates a community review board, which means that things the police do are subject to review by groups from like DARE, groups like ONA, groups like prison, folks from the community. Other things, it prohibits racial profiling explicitly, which is also not a current part of the police department policy.
All I have to say is I think it's very important that it passes because it's an issue that has gone on for a very long time and it shouldn't be swept under the rug anymore, considering the major events that have gone on in other states concerning racial profiling and police brutality. Like, this thing needs to pass. So that's my piece on that.
This has also been forming for the past over 2 years now. So we've been working with community groups and we've been working with a lot of individuals. Like I remember 2 years ago around this time running around getting food donations to meet with all these high schoolers to talk about this, and now it's there's a big group of people in the Columbus Theater, and artists and musicians are coming together to say, if we're gonna be on a stage, we need to use it to show the urgency and relevancy of the Community Safety Act. And right now in particular, this is a really important area to have all of us coming together, because we are going to be introducing the Community Safety Act into what's called the Ordinance Committee, which Mary Kay sits on in Providence City Hall. And that's where people are really going to have to put out, their yes or their no, and really say who they're behind. Are they behind, the people of Providence saying all we want is transparency and accountability, or are they behind the current status quo, which is keeping that from happening? So it's a really urgent moment right now, and that's why this is also, so important, and we thank you for being here.
So when do you expect this ordinance committee to vote?
So the ordinance committee, we introduced this ordinance to the committee. It goes into committee. It's already been introduced into the city council. We introduced it June 16th day, 2014, in honor of the day where Texas hadn't known that the 13th Amendment to end slavery was passed for a couple of years until after it was passed. And on this big day, June 16th, the message was delivered. And so that was this big day that we used the anniversary to introduce this ordinance about a year ago. And now it's going to be going into the ordinance committee this summer. But the city council goes on tour in August. They're not going to be meeting and stuff like that. So what they need to hear from all of us, like Facebook messages, emails, calls. How's your tour? When you get back, you need to pass this in the ordinance committee.
Wait, but is there someone in particular that would be helpful for us, to talk to now? How would I talk to someone? I want to see this show happen, but I don't know who to contact.
So, in fact, Laura, Tanya, and I aren't just beautiful, identifying women who pass you candy downstairs. That candy had a small piece of paper on it that had the name, the email, and the phone number of Brian Principe, who is actually the council member for the ward that the Columbus Theater is in. Believe it or not, Mary Kay isn't the counselor of this ward that the Columbus Theater is in. We're just really lucky to have her. She sits on the ordinance committee with Brian Principe. Brian Principe has not given a yes or a no to the Community Safety Act yet, but he is going to be one of those big important votes on the ordinance committee. Also with him on there is one of our supporters. Her name is Carmen Castillo, and she supports the Community Safety Act. We need 3 yeses. We have 2. That one more really, really relies on you. That rhymed. It really does. It really, really does.
Okay, well, maybe I should just right now on my phone, at least put this in. I want to put this email into my phone. If anyone has a phone that does email, you don't need to send it now, but I feel like, can you just spell out
your phones?
Can you just spell out his name?
Sure.
Or tell me the email. Does anyone have the email address?
I have it, actually. Take out your phone! Pick your favorite emoji to send to Brian Principe! Okay, so Brian Principe, B-R-Y-A-N, Principe, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-E, the little prince, Ward 13. His email is ward13.
WARD13
at Providence. R as in road, I as in island. .com. And you can send them a personal.
I'm going to personally. I don't expect everything now. You should at some point, but dear Brian, I am at an event that is super fun. I just learned about the Community Safety Act.
I can't type that fast.
Please support it too. Like all of us who vote in your ward. See you at the Hudson Street Market sometime.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And feel free to do that all during the Downtown Boys set. You don't have to look at us play. Feel free to send a personal message then to Brian Principe.
Yeah, Brian, we're inviting him to be our friend and
Yes.
to support this act. My understanding is that even on the big city council where there's 15 people, I mean, how close is it to having enough to just pass the whole, or if it gets out of committee, how close do you think it is, to pass the whole city council?
I think that we get closer and closer each day, each event, each email. We get closer and closer. We have the support of the council president, Luis Aponte, on the ordinance. So he is a pretty hot shot he's like the front person of the city council. So we do have his support. So we know that we have a lot of power.
Okay, well then speaking of power, do we have anything, who's up next?
Oh gosh, okay, well, before we introduce who's up next, feel free to ask us any questions downstairs. We're going to continue to pass out the information downstairs and make sure everyone walks home. That's your show ticket. And up next is a wonderful poet who I actually just saw play or perform under a sunset at downtown at the One Providence Experience. Their name's Muggs Fogarty. And get ready to really get your mind working so that you can then get your body working during what chair.